2025 has been a very strange and difficult year. Not too long ago, I had fallen into a very dark place and was starting to feel overwhelmed by a lot. In my few moments of free time, I couldn't even bring myself to play games. Even turning them on and getting immersed felt like effort, and I had none to spare. If you know me, you know that I love the Xenoblade trilogy. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition came out in March, and I didn't play it. I couldn't. I had been so excited, but just thinking of starting it, learning all of the mechanics, sitting through cutscenes, it felt overwhelming. I mean, it felt like that with most games. I'd scroll down my Steam library and just not want to do anything. One day, on a whim, when I really felt like I had to occupy my mind, I started Chrono Trigger. This is a game I had planned to stream one day, because I had never really played it. But that day, I really just had the urge. And given how rare that was at the time, I didn't hesitate. I'm glad I didn't. I ended up getting addicted for a week. I played for hours every day. I didn't look anything up, no guides even if I got stuck. I'd update my friends that had played it before on what just happened or when really powerful story moments hit. But other than that, it was me and Chrono Trigger in isolation. I don't need to convince anyone on Earth that Chrono Trigger is a nearly perfect masterpiece. Aside from the fact that this game rocks, I started to wonder, why this game? Why this and not Xenoblade? Baldur's Gate, Final Fantasy XVI. I had so many games half finished, games that I enjoyed a lot. This is going to be a weird video, and it's going to talk a little bit about mental health, fatigue, and maybe life. I want to emphasize that I'm okay doing things I enjoy and spending time with the people I care about. If this video catches you in the middle of a crisis or a low point in your life, I hope it resonates with you, and know that things can and will get better. Video games for me are more than a hobby. They are pieces of art that transcend the passive nature of other media. The interactivity, the moment-to-moment experiences. Video games truly are a transportation into the fully realized worlds of magic, myth, wonder, excitement, difficulty, and hardship. And one of their most powerful aspects is their ability to allow you to overcome that hardship through your own will. Whether that be through skill or problem solving, there really is no better feeling than completing a puzzle you've been stuck on through sheer determination and creativity. I imagine that the explosion of streaming lends itself to our inherent joy in watching other people experience moments and feelings that we had during those same games. This isn't really a new phenomenon either. The growth of the YouTube Let's Play exemplified our willingness to watch someone experience our favorite media, whether that be to align with our own opinions or to create discourse. All that to say, video games are deeply powerful pieces of media that truly can change our lives. As an author, my bias towards video games inspired my best works far before the literary classics did. I will cry at the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, every time. It does not matter how many times I see it. How can something that evocative be nothing less than powerful? But as I get older, I have moments of apathy. The goosebumps formed when I get excited to come home from work and play a new game I've looked forward to fade quickly, and I find myself scrolling TikTok, or just idling on Twitch for hours or something equally wasteful of my time. A few months ago, in the middle of trying to finish grad school, that apathy had a chokehold on me. Increasingly disastrous life events challenged my mental health, and sent me into an anxiety-ridden depression where even the things I loved lost their shine. Aside from the tedium of reading and research for school, I sat around and mostly thought about playing games. But all of them just felt so difficult to start, especially more modern games. I know this is going to sound kinda silly, but listen. A game could be like 100 gigabytes, which depending on your internet speed could take a long time to download. You might have to download new drivers for your GPU if you're on PC, or your console might need to update. Once you start the game, it might have to load shaders, the point being, you have to be patient to play a modern game today. And by the time all of that is done, you still have to reckon with the increasingly complex mechanics and systems of games that continue to try and grab your attention because they're one in a sea of hundreds doing the same thing. And if you think like that, especially when you're feeling the way I did, pressing play on a game feels daunting. Because you want to become immersed. You want to experience hours of fun, that's the point. While video games hold that powerful magic of interactivity, you need to want to participate. And when your mental health is crumbling, and even small tasks feel impossible, being an active participant feels way too hard. Just as an example, because I've already mentioned it multiple times, take a look at Xenoblade Chronicles X. Not only does it continue the series' trend of massive open worlds, there's also roughly infinite side quests, a gigantic equipment system for every party member with customizable features, a class system, customizable mechs, and I want to be clear, while I was making this video, I've been having an incredible time with Xenoblade. When you are the participant, these things don't feel like stopping points. What I'm saying is getting over that initial hump that is preventing you from even dipping your toes in is the hard part. I don't think you need to be suffering full onset depression to feel this way either. Adulthood comes with its own set of daily problems, and I think they can sometimes manifest as apathy towards things we normally enjoy. We're already so tired at the end of the day, spending just a little more effort can sometimes be too much. But the idea for this video came about when I started Chrono Trigger. I was in a rough spot. Family members were having significant health issues, my anxiety and mental health were in a deeply problematic freefall, and it was challenging my relationships with friends and family. Kind of hard to focus on wanting to do something fun, and even harder to start. Fortunately, in a rare lucid moment of being tired, I wanted nothing more than to just do something. So I installed Chrono Trigger. Let's walk through the opening of Chrono Trigger real quick. You start a new game, pick Chrono's name, and the opening scene starts, panning across the town until Chrono is woken up by Mom. He gets out of bed with a stretch, and the game is started. After this, there's nothing really stopping you for a while. Chat with Mom, maybe visit the houses in town, but you're off to the fair. This isn't going to be a Chrono Trigger synopsis video, but quick. How long does it take from this moment until that first pivotal plot point that sends you into the past? That depends. You could spend an hour at the fair, exploring, taking your time, and visiting all the attractions. But it could also take just a few minutes, and there's no weird, complicated game systems that are holding your hand and tutorializing how to walk, how to fight. You're just here, learning by playing the game. By the time you're sent to the past, you've done as much or as little of what the game offers as you want, but it doesn't really matter. All this to say, the opening of Chrono Trigger, and by extension the rest of the game, is not bogged down by the clutter and meandering of tutorials, game explanations, or mechanics. And I think that is why I connected so deeply with this game during a time when I needed something easy for my mind to digest. This is not an indictment of any game, and your mileage may vary depending on the kind of person you are. For me, Balatro is an excellent example of something you can just turn on and play. Its complexity is masked by the fact that no one particular decision is ever mired in an abundance of careful strategy, nor does the game flow ever change from its prime goal: make hands to earn enough points. The game is self-explanatory, and allows you the time to learn while playing naturally. Some people might not feel the same though. Stardew Valley is the comfiest of the comfy games. You can't really lose or fail or do something wrong. But to me, beginning a new farm in Stardew is anxiety-ridden. The scheduling of what days you're going to do what, and the time and stamina limitations, are kind of a turnoff for me when I need something that isn't trying to work my brain. There are other aspects of video games that I think explain this thought process, and it really can just be how they're made today. Chrono Trigger doesn't have voice acting or high-fidelity cutscenes, long monologues, or a complex battle system. This could be by design, but it's also a product of its time. I don't think I'm entirely wrong to say that older games and retro games are generally simpler from a production value standpoint. But I think that makes them more accessible when you're having trouble getting motivated and becoming a participant. Until now, I don't think I knew what this video was about. Maybe I should take that out of the script, but actually, I think it's important to my main point. Nostalgia can fuel us in our weakest moments because they are well-explored facets of comfort we've curated for ourselves. I can play Ocarina of Time any day of the week for hours without thinking much. The muscle memory can carry me while my mind gets distracted. But when we're looking for new experiences, the oppressive tedium and complexity of real life can stifle our ability to become a participant in the things that are supposed to bring us joy. Chrono Trigger for me was that awakening of what my mind needs as a cure when I'm hurt. And before anyone thinks to make the argument, no, I am not saying Chrono Trigger is a simple, easy, or even basic game. I think the combat is phenomenal and works extremely well. The storytelling and writing keeps you invested. The time travel mechanics can really get you thinking about how to solve problems outside the box. I did not fall in love with Chrono Trigger because it was simple. I did because it respected the space it took up in my mind. It didn't have to be Chrono Trigger either. This was pure circumstance. But I think it was important that it was an older game. I didn't have to split my attention or decipher the bright, flashing mural of a AAA experience. The limiting nature of older games, and by extension the creative workarounds to turn these limits to their advantage, perhaps make them more mentally accessible than anything that comes out today. And this is why retro games continue to be so valuable and important, why they deserve to be preserved and played no matter what year it is. I'm not speaking as a librarian. I'm speaking as a 90s kid, a dumb millennial that plays way too many games, cries at the corniest JRPG stories, and always dreamed of being able to share the love I have for this hobby with people across the world. If you've ever felt like this or resonated with anything I said in this video, then know that you're seen and you aren't alone. You probably don't hate the hobby you grew up with. You're just in the throes of the most difficult challenge of all, life. What are some games that maybe helped you along the way? I'd love to hear them. I'm sure they're vastly different from mine. As always, like the video, comment below, and I'll see you next time.